Having a mindfulness practice and a meditation practice are essential parts of our evolution as spiritual beings. But what happens when we have blind spots, when we have areas of ourselves that we can't really see, that we can't transform and transcend? In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the most transformative tools that you can use to help shift you out of those old programs. First, I'm going to uncover what stops us from seeing those blind spots, those programs that are seemingly running us. Then I'll get into the tool itself. And lastly, I'll talk about several ways that you can simply and effectively incorporate this tool into your daily life so that you can begin to see major transformation. But before I begin, if at any point you find that this video is helpful, then please like and subscribe so this information can reach more people who might also benefit from watching. Seeing your blind spots. One of the hardest things to do on your spiritual path is to be able to find your blind spots. That's why they're called blind spots. We get so caught up in our day-to-day lives. There's even a tendency to compartmentalize our spirituality. We have our meditation in the morning and then in the evening or the afternoon or whenever you decide to have it. And it becomes habitual. And then the rest of the day is a free-for-all where your day just seems to run amok and you have no real sense of merging your spirituality with your everyday life. When you compartmentalize your spirituality in that way, what happens is that you begin to have more blind spots, and this is simply because you do not have as much awareness. Your awareness is your best friend when it comes to your spiritual evolution, because you are that awareness. Your true self is that pure consciousness. Your spiritual practice, whether it be mindfulness or meditation, is simply a practice in remembering what it is that you really are, that pure awareness, the one that is watching everything. Even our blind spots, the areas of ourselves, of our consciousness that we don't have access to because we've identified or focused on the things that are happening to us, you've simply taken your focus, your awareness, and you've identified with the things that you think are seemingly happening to you. The more and more you begin to catch yourself as identifying with the things that you aren't, the more and more you are going to begin to see those blind spots. Remember, you are the consciousness, the pure consciousness that is experiencing everything. You are not your stories. You are not your labels. You are not your emotions, your thoughts, your physical body. You are none of those things. So in order to see our blind spots, one of the first things that has to happen is that we need to at least have the awareness that we are, in fact, misidentifying on a regular basis. And the more and more we realize this, the more and more awareness we bring to those areas of our lives that we are seemingly blind to. There is a tool that you can implement and use on a regular basis so that you can begin to see these blind spots. So let's get into that tool. Your life is a reflection. Everything that's happened to you in your life that you think is outside of you is simply a reflection of your inner world. Everything that is happening outside of you is being processed inside of you. Where is self? Where is within? Where is without? Really, there is no such thing as without or within. Everything is happening inside of your awareness. Consciousness is the very thing that allows you to know that you even exist, that any of this exists. The more that you begin to lose this identification with your ego, with your body, with your mind, the less and less you feel this sense of a personal self, this sense of existing in the world in a separate way. You begin to feel much more that you've lost this separation, that you are just this witnesser, that you are just one that is experiencing life, and that there isn't this you that's experiencing it, but that you are just this pure awareness that is here. Self-reflection is you, reflecting on the aspect of you that relates to the world. Remember, everything is a relationship. You have a relationship to everything, whether you realize it or not. You have a relationship to your car. You have a relationship to your parents. You have a relationship to your food, to health, to the way that you think. You even have relationships to certain ideas. Those relationships are the very thing that make you decide how you want to show up, how you want to show up in those relationships. Do you want to show up with kindness? Do you want to show up with negativity and fear? If you have a negative association with something, because of an experience that you've had, because of a wounding pattern, then you are going to relate to that thing in a very specific way. This is why, as we begin to self-reflect and understand what these programs are, by looking at them, by discovering them, by uncovering them, by using this tool of self-reflection, then we can begin to stop our misidentifications with those things. We can realize that we are not any of the things that we've misidentified with. We are simply the one that is observing those things. Anything that you are observing is not you. Any emotion that you're observing, anything that you feel that has happened to you, where you have become a victim, is not the actual truth of what you are. So the minute you realize that, you're free. You've found liberation. To give you a personal example, I'll use the most relevant and recent occurrence of my mom's passing. Every time that I think of her, because I've been triggered by some memory, some song, a place that we used to visit, a number of things, a friend might call and remind me of something that she said or did, and then all of a sudden these emotions well up inside me, and I feel this deep longing, and I miss her terribly. And I know that all of these things are quote unquote normal and accepted in society. But I ask myself every time it happens, is this serving me? And yes, it's important for me to not suppress the grief, but at the same time, I have to be careful not to wallow in self-pity and not to feel that I've been wronged or victimized in some way. We can absolutely and should absolutely feel things as they come up, but the key is to not identify with those things, to not allow ourselves to lose sight of what it is that we really are, that pure consciousness. Various approaches to seeing self. Number 1, memory recall. I find that it's most helpful to meditate first thing in the morning and right before you go to sleep at night. This allows you to use the most suggestible times of the day to implement very powerful tools for self-reflection. It's also a wonderful way to create a habit out of your meditation practice, something that you can actually stick to, so you don't have to remember a schedule. You know that the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is meditate, and you know that the last thing you do at the end of the day is meditate. I like to practice self-reflection at the end of the day. That way, I can reflect upon all of the things that happened that day. There are many spiritual masters that suggest reflecting on your day in reverse order so as to help strengthen your ability for recall. It's not an easy thing to do, but with practice, you will get better at it. As you recount everything that happened that day in reverse order, you begin to have a bird's eye view of your life. It's as if you get to watch your life as if it were your own movie where you're the star. As you begin to watch this movie of your life on a daily basis, you see in a very objective way who it is that you are, how you've been showing up, how you've been relating, and most importantly, how others have been relating to you. Your entire life is a reflection of what you believe that you are seeing. Your perception, your judgments are what are being reflected back to you. One of the easiest ways to see yourself is to see how others respond to you or react to you. As people respond to you, either positively or negatively, you can make room for change, for transformation in those areas. Maybe we need to work on being a little bit kinder, more gentle with our tone, with our approach to things. That's where we can really begin to understand the areas that we need to start to transform, to relate to differently. Number 2, calling your energy back. I've said time and time again that everything is energy. You are part of that energy. This concept of recalling or bringing your energy back to yourself at the end of the day really has to do with karma. It has to do with not leaving yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy in other people, in spaces where you visit. It's a very powerful tool that you can do at the end of every single day as you practice this recall, this act of self-reflection, and bring all of your energy back to yourself. And you do this simply through intention. For example, let's say I visited with a friend and I gave her a healing, or I just simply sat there and listened to her. As I am sitting in meditation and remembering this event, I can simply call my energy back from my friend, from the room that we were sitting in, and bring it back to myself so that there is no trace of me or my energy being left in my friend or the room and space that we were in. And you can do this with every place that you visit and every person that you encounter. As you bring your energy back, you'll notice that you have more of your energy because you haven't left it in places. When you're practicing self-reflection, it's a wonderful time to do it because you're already there. You're already recalling all of the events that happened during the day. So it's very easy to just take another moment and call your energy back. Number 3, who do you want to become? Once you have the ability to become self-aware, the next and final step is to decide who it is that you want to become. This is the fun part. Changing the way that you decide to relate to life is the way to transform your life. I find that writing really helps me. Not only do I try to reflect as I'm meditating at the end of the day, but I find that as I write about the ways that I've related to life, to the certain aspects of self that I have identified with or misidentified with, I become much clearer in my thinking, in my understanding of things. Becoming a new you is as simple as deciding that it is so. Is as simple as making it a new habit. New habits are done a little bit every day. It's as simple as deciding that you want to wake up first thing in the morning and make your bed. That small act of making your bed first thing in the morning can change the trajectory of your entire day. It sets the tone. And habits, as little as they are, will do this. And over time, they become a part of you. Instead of just becoming a habit, it becomes a way of life. It becomes who you are, just like meditation, just like mindfulness, just like any aspect that you want to shift within you. And it's not going to happen on its own. But we do have the ability to do this if we remember that the little things, it's the little things in life that really matter. Because at the end of the day, life is just a series of moments. It's a series of little things. Those little things make really, really big things happen. I love you all so much. Until next time, remember to let go. Let go of trying to be anything other than the truth of what you are.